All right, we are live, OTNG, Season 2, Episode 21. When we last left our heroes, there was great sundering of a mighty oak in a black forest, from which crawled a hell beast. Our heroes slew the beast and saved the young lovers at the village on the verge of the village, the village on the verge.
The village on the verge. We prevented it from becoming the former village.
That's right. It's been a year since that last adventure. Our heroes have returned to the city of Crossings. The New God's army that had once marched on the plains, on the floodplain outside, beyond the gates, beyond the walls of Crossings, has now quit the field, gone on to other endeavors. And why don't we start by thinking about each of our characters, each of the two characters that the players are running and what they have been doing in this past year, how they have shaped, how they have evolved, how they have grown from those experts to their new masters. I know that Ethan had written a very interesting evolution for Morgan, who is now a young woman, no longer a child, a woman of 30. Is that right, Ethan? Got you on mute, buddy.
Yep, I was eating. Yep, she is
sure.
a woman of 30.
I don't know
which didn't surprise
Alfie, which is so awesome. That was a nice little throwaway.
I love that. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I was writing it at like midnight and was like, eh.
Yeah, so good times. I like that. Don't forget to take your fortune point that I awarded you in the email. You may not have seen it in the
right.
Because I just had gone back and kind of skimmed through some of your guys' stuff to make sure I was sort of caught up.
Yeah. Well written, Ethan. Very well written.
Thank you.
So maybe we can start. I think we are all aware of sort of the evolution that Morgan has embarked on. What's been happening with Ukufa during this these past 12 months?
So Ukufa he finished dealing with what was under the mountain. And as a result of that, drew much closer to his deity, his god. To the point where the two of them are able to regularly commune.
I thought you said commute.
I'll see you in the morning. Bring coffee.
Down the I-5.
And ever since then, he has been just making various errands to deal with, to work the death god's wishes and bringing people to his table. And he has
bring people to his table in terms of remembrance, reflection on their mortality, and
sandwiches,
ponderances of the afterlife, or bring them to their table to be eaten.
Bring them to the death god's table, where, in other words, kill them.
In terms of sacrifice. Oh, I see. So kind of like a what's a euthanasia kind of thing? A euthanasia cult? Okay.
Angel of death.
Okay. There's you may not be familiar with it, Ethan. There's such a thing in kind of on the periphery of the Game of Thrones canon. I'm not suggesting that's what it is, but that's also interesting. So great. Okay.
I'll take a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he has been.
I think it's called the Faceless God in the Game of Thrones canon.
Right. Yeah, so
might inspire you or might help you shape your other ideas. Kaylee, come here. Good girl.
So yeah, he has been he's been killing people, according to his God's wishes.
Okay.
Mostly those who have either been cheating death, those who have done, mainly those who have been cheating death. And as a result has also improved his martial abilities, making sure he can specialize in taking on many foes. And
When you say cheating death, I assume you mean you're slaughtering zombies?
or, necromancers.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I got no problem with that. That's cool. Because that messes. They mess with the balance.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's not killing good people.
All
He's
right.
not. He's killing bad people.
So you're like Dexter. You're our serial killer.
Yeah.
Ugh, he's creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it. Nils, do you want to go next? I know you have done a bit of thinking about what's been going on with 808 and Gideon.
Yeah, so Gideon is, we briefly saw in the young lady that jumped off a cliff and turned into a demon a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
A demon then, but we saw some undead kind of people. I guess we saw some demons down in the basement, but we really hadn't seen
Shadowy creatures, yeah.
Yeah, really serious demons until this last adventure.
Fucking size of a school bus.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality of the downward spiral of the world is weighing heavily on Gideon, and his family's role is a very weighty subject for him. So he's been becoming more and more obsessed and a bit unhinged about it, and so he's going to go ahead and do the zealot role,
Cool.
which, if you haven't read up on it, if things go badly enough, he will basically go berserk and attack whoever's closest. So just beware.
The good thing Morgan has spells that can calm him down.
Yeah, I say you beware. I'll put you down. Don't you hit me with nothing.
And then the 8008135 has been, as I kind of shared in the email, becoming more questioning, his role, where he's from. I bought the supplement that came along, and in it they say that clockworks are powered by the souls of dead people, and you actually have to be a part necromancer to create them. So, and depending on how it's done, you may or may not remember what the person's that your soul is from. Okay. And there's, in the setup information of the new clockworks, it includes how much you remember. And for 808, he let's see, what did I say? Is partially clean. It's partially cleansed, but he recalls committing some terrible acts, but not with enough detail to, be that sure of it. So he's been very introspective, to the point that he's now. The other thing that I was kind of surprised at was that clockworks are very, very rare, and that they say that it's possible, even in a big city, for a clockwork to go its whole life and never see another one.
Interesting.
So he's been trying to make contacts through whatever way possible and gather at least a long distance network of other clockworks to try to help
build a sense of community.
Yeah, forge a community. And they also said that the other thing I was surprised at was they said that while the clockworks have been given the rights of regular sentient races, the other races, of course, don't treat them as such.
Right.
So he's definitely becoming a almost like a civil rights agitator. And just even though it's going to be pretty somewhat of a duplication, I'm going to go ahead and have him take the cleric expert role, as it says, his mastery, just because that fits the best with what he's doing. So, and then, so his main goal is to
almost Martin Luther King.
Exactly. Find other clockworks, create a community, and
bring about equality.
Yeah, that's it.
So you do know that there is one tottering, rundown clockwork here in Crossings.
Mm-hmm.
That's the creature that bore the ransom down to the docks when you had first gone out to rescue Dolores, and you had recognized him immediately. Remember, he grabbed that glowing goo and like rubbed it inside his carapace onto his mainspring, and kind of had just sat down there on the docks and just sat in a stupor. You recognize him, and you know him as being a grease addict. And that's one way that men have controlled kind of wayward clockworks. It's not very common anymore, just because when there had been few, there are now almost none. Right, to your point of them being few and far between.
Right, and the other thing they said was that there's rumors that it is possible to have the key removed. And set up and that some tinkerers have been able to create perpetual motion machines in order to basically make them completely independent of other that their existence doesn't rely on other entities to turn their key. So that's that's the holy grail for the clockworks, is to find some be completely self-independent.
Isn't it for all of us?
And I don't know if you saw my email, but I had mentioned that maybe as an artificer, you could make such a perpetual motion thing.
Right.
Because
I'm not sure I don't think I caught that part.
I had just emailed you like 30 minutes before the session kind of thing.
Okay, I don't think I saw that yet. All right.
But maybe that's a thing.
Yep. Or it will be.
So that's.
I think the word we're looking for is MacGuffin.
So what does Yukufa think about the clockwork and the use of the mortal soul to create these mechanical creatures? How does that fall? How does that play in your worldview?
That's a good question.
You had to ask. I knew you'd go there.
Okay.
Well, we've got death and we've got souls and we've got the.
We do.
Maybe it's nothing to be. Let's leave it as an open question. Maybe something, something to ponder. I'm not trying to set up conflict between the parties. I just want you guys to. I'm curious. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm also curious if we'll ever learn who the soul of who the mortal soul, what the mortal soul is of 808. Has it become something new? Is it?
Yeah, I think just a quick little thing with it would be Yukufa is more angry and more focused on dealing with those who created the clockwork.
Who would perpetuate such madness rather than...
Exactly.
Okay.
Whereas he feels sorry that the clockwork have been unable to experience the death god's loving embrace.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, they experienced it and was taken back.
Removed from said embrace.
Removed from the experience, from the embrace. Yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was given and then taken away, kind of thing.
But Yukufa also knows that all things will eventually succumb to said embrace.
Yes.
So no reason to hurry it in the case of our clockwork buddy here.
Okay.
He feels bad that the mortal soul has lost. So.
What's been going on for Opie and Ichabod?
Well, Opie, seeing his life flash before his eyes more than once last adventure, 7 goddamn fortune points between the two of us. I'm just going to remind everyone of that.
No kidding.
Yeah. And has come to really appreciate his bow even more. Has taken up the longbow. He's built his strength up. He's a much stronger guy. In the last year, he's been hunting more, doing great deals of target practice, and he's become a sharpshooter. And he's deadly. I mean, he's a sniper at this point. So I need to go buy and equip him with a longbow. But he realized that he was running along a ley line, and which is what saved him. Because the stones are at a conjunction of ley lines,
right?
And so we just happened to be running along them, and that's why I was able to hit the demon a couple times while the demon was unable to hit us. It's another way to explain bad die rolls, but he's seeing that, and he's gone back over there, and since then he's collected stones, small rocks, roughly, I'd say the diameter of a quarter, maybe $0.50, and that lay along these lines, and he's been picking them up and collecting them, and he's brought them to Ichabod because they're infused. They carry a little of that power of the ley line with them, and Ichabod, after working with 8008 to hunt down the maggot queen and set the trap that used fire and one of his mechanisms to finally burn her between my control of fire and his mechanisms. He has a very strong connection with flame, and so he's become a pyromancer is his direction he's gone. And the spell I picked up for him is meteor, and these stones he can hurl them, and it's basically a fire grenade is what it is. But I think it's the one that does 3d6 at medium range to a group within a certain
radius or something.
Certain radius, yeah.
Okay.
So that's where he's gone, and he's also more and more convinced that he is. And I got to add a profession. I think it was profession. Yeah, language or profession, and I went with profession, and for him, I added I went with philosopher because he's already gone cleric and theologic, and he sort of turned his back on everything that's happened, and he's really processing something new, and he's coming to something new that no one's ever really maybe vocalized or really ever come to, certainly that he's never thought about. And so this whole concept that of monotheism is rocking his world, and in order to understand it better himself and to soon be able to translate it to others, I just felt philosophy was the strongest piece for him. And following with
a true deist.
Pardon?
Becoming a true deist or deist.
Yes, thank you. And Opie, I forgot, he also gained a language and profession, and in this case I went with hunter because, well, yeah, let's be honest, that's where it's pretty much where he's been going.
Well, I love it. These characters are really kind of taking on some really interesting evolutions. So before we get started, I want to set the scene about what's been happening here in Crossings. There has been a time of relative quiet, a relative opportunity to kind of rebuild the city, reshape, and almost even kind of grow over this past year. Other refugees, families, and travelers like yourselves have come into the community. Ties are being established with the village of Verge. The harvest has been reasonable, not a bounty, but certainly enough to feed the mouths through the winter. And now it's the next spring, and there's hope in the air. But children, babes have been snatched from their beds. Children have gone missing, and the brown cloaks are scouring the cities trying to investigate these disappearances. child kidnapping ring? What's been happening? And
You really like to push my buttons, don't you? All about the kids. Once it's the kids, it's like we're on.
Yeah.
Blood must be spilt.
Yeah. So I will tell you, I'll tell you that I have a couple of principles as a GM. Maybe we'll discuss them at the end of the session. That I try to bring to this session specifically. Those principles are slightly different in the DCC session, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe we'll talk about that at the end of the session. But I'm trying to specifically set a tone, set a mood, with this specific campaign. And I think we've been pretty successful at doing that. But maybe you'll have to tell me at the end of the session tonight. So remind me to follow up on that.
We'll add it with our hit and misses.
Right.
Children are missing.
Brown cloaks are and the fishing, a few fishing boats have been attacked out on the river, out on the Blackwater. These enormous shrieking eels have splintered a couple of fishing boats and killed a few fishermen, and the fleet's kind of nervous about setting out into the waters. Only the largest boats go, and only together. And there's lots of fretting about when the next attack might be had. And at the rising of the last full moon, the last fortnight, a new island has appeared in the dark waters, almost overnight, surrounded by thin silvery mist, and boats that have set out to investigate the island have not returned. This is the setting for our adventure that we'll begin tonight, as an eerie fog rolls in over shrouding the entire city of Crossing in a thick fog. You can hardly see your hand in front of your face. And what will you do? Oh, why don't I start with this question? Who will you bring unto the adventure, Ethan? I think you're on mute, buddy.
Yep. That's an excellent question. Why don't we come back to me?
All right, Nils?
I pick Ethan to go first.
Peter.
Fine. As much as I've loved Opie lately, I'm going to go with Ichabod because I haven't played him for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 808-135.
808?
Yeah, we got a bond after that whole swamp thing.
Well, dealing with fog, mysterious island, boats. We'll bring you Kufa.
Okay.
I thought for sure you go, we need a magic girl.
Well, we kind of do need a magic girl, but
you're welcome to bring her.
But we'll bring Morgan.
Okay, you change your mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Yakufa is
A pyromancer, clockwork, and a young woman walk into the fog-ridden night of the Crossing, stepping out from the local tavern.
Yep. Oh, real fast. The children, have they been how long have they been vanishing?
It started slowly. It started maybe a month ago with the report of a missing boy and his sister. And then after a week or two, more and more, 3 or 4 more, and then most recently, dozens.
Mm.
And the island only just appeared.
It did, yes, the island appeared under the full moon of the last fortnight.
I can't help but think there's answers there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just new condos going up.
So imagine, if you will, a sort of a London fog, a heavy, heavy London fog, that kind of fog that swallows all sound, that
Sticks to you.
that reduces, where you can lose a companion in a conversation in the turn of a corner. It's early. It's not yet late, but it is dark. What will you do?
Well, do we want to go out to the island?
I think it's definitely related.
We can disappear like the other guys have.
Sorry, let's make sure you're on the map of crossings. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
And I am as well. Those barricades that had been thrown up around the old town have been taken down, have been removed. Hang on, just checking some notes.
That's fine.
I think we're discussing what we want to do anyway.
Yeah,
so.
please, work amongst yourselves. Talk among yourselves. Talk among yourselves.
Yeah, I think the island's our best bet.
Though it does make me wonder a little bit that the children have been vanishing well before the island showed up.
Yeah. My fear is that they've been sacrificed, and that's what brought the island. But I'm hoping though that they were being collected for when the island appeared. That's what I'm hoping.
And I think the eels are also connected.
Hear those, princess? The shrieking eels!
Yep. As soon as I heard giant shrieking eels, I went.
5 points for a Princess Bride reference.
Yep.
We can give each other our own fortune points. I didn't know that.
Those aren't fortune points. Those are story points. Those are slightly different.
Yeah, and if he goes to the GM, he can have all he wants as far as fortune points.
And we'll compare if we all survive to level 10, how many story points each person has.
That's it.
That's how we know who really wins.
Is Nils painting, by the way?
I will be.
Good.
Hopefully, maybe.
Excellent.
If I can decide on my colors.
That's the hard part.
Got to rep your colors. Well, I'm painting rabbits.
Wabbit?
Yeah, the last one's for this Kickstarter. And I'm prepping War Master figures.
Mm-hmm.
We have not done much of this, but it's about to get crazy up in here. So, we're into the third act of the campaign.
Yes.
And you have all witnessed and experienced some truly bone-chilling.
We have learned the knowledge that man was not meant to know.
Right. So each of you should take 2d6 insanity.
Okay. Well,
and just track that on your.
I'm not surprised.
I'm about to try it. Depending on how I roll, I may need to remove some of that insanity.
Is that also? I'm assuming also on our other characters too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well,
we'll roll for the characters that are present now, and then you should also roll for your characters that are are present elsewhere. I'm going to do something a little bit different with insanity. And we'll talk about that once you get your numbers.
Ooh, that's a lot.
That's for Ichabod, right?
Well, yeah, but his whole world's being turned upside down.
Right.
So we do track it on here. It is, there's a spot, there it is. Oh, so I'm at 11. Not even funny.
I think if you reach your will, you have to.
Oh, okay. I'm one away.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about what the canon insanity is, and then we'll talk about how I'm slightly going to play with that.
Okay, because I have a couple spells that can actually, according to how it's written in the book, can remove insanity.
Okay.
A little bit at a time. Here's your Koopa. Koopa should just roll 3d6.
Because he starts kind of crazy as it
Well,
is.
yeah, he starts crazy. I think really the issue is he starts with a lot of corruption. That's really what he has.
Right, because of his
just what he does, his soul sucking, the fact that he died, came back to life.
Corruption is something different, and we'll talk about. We can talk about corruption later. I think I have an idea about how to deal with corruption. I'm not really a super fan of how corruption works in canon, but
it's a little weird. All right, I'm all rolled.
Okay, cool. And is that conviction that Gideon has? Is that something that inherently he has for?
Oh, I'm sorry. That I'm just, because 8008135 is now a cleric. I'm just copying the clerical talents from Gideon to.
Got it, to 808.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll probably see a couple more like that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Was that a second expert path that he chose, or master?
Second expert.
Second expert. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So canon insanity is on page
37 is my guess. I haven't looked at it in a while. I'll hit it here in a second.
I'm going to the index.
It's right at the beginning. I think it's in chapter 2.
Insanity 35 and 201.
Oh, that was close.
So on page 35, oops. Yeah, when you encounter strange, unsettling, and awful, or affected by dark magic, demons from the void, witnessing acts of sudden and brutal violence can stress your mind.
Really?
We
see it every day.
Most characters begin with insanity 0. You cannot gain more insanity than your will. When you gain insanity, at the GM's discretion, when you gain insanity, you become frightened for a number of rounds equal to your new insanity total. If you're already, this is where we're gonna kind of change things.
Okay.
If you're already frightened, you become instead stunned, and when your insanity total reaches your will score, you go mad. And when you go mad, you roll on a table to see what happens to your madness, and the madness ends, you reduce your insanity by a d6 plus your will mod. So there's a chart with the madness effects. But instead of doing that, I'd like you to think about how to track on your character three states: fight, flight, or freeze. And when your insanity reaches your will total, you'll then suffer one of those effects. It's up to you. You'll just tick it off on your character sheet, And then the next time you suffer one of those of insanity, you'll have to choose one of the unchosen. And then the third time you'll have to choose
The last one.
last remaining. And then it sort of resets itself, and then you go through that whole process again.
Okay.
And we're not going to worry about these madness things unless it's like really called for. Maybe we might roll it to see how it manifests your fight, flight, or freeze, unless you have sort of a good way to apply it in the fiction.
Okay.
And then
We're good with fiction. We like that.
We are very good with fiction.
And I'm still kind of thinking right now about if there will be any kind of insanity recovery or not.
Okay.
So that's sort of where I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about in terms of insanity right now. Fight, flight, or freeze.
Okay. Well, yeah, that definitely reduces the need for something like some of my spell effects can do in reducing insanity.
Mm.
Because it's not like this. When you hit that insanity, when your insanity hits your will, it's not as bad as what some of that happens when you go mad.
Okay.
Right, the madness stuff, and
Yeah.
you have spells or abilities that allow you to deal with that, or what?
Yeah,
What
so
does Yakuza have?
Morgan has two spells, one called Cure and one called Greater Cure. So basically, they give a swath of options to her that she can use, and one of the options that she can use in that spell is she can choose to remove one insanity from the target.
Okay, it's still, you can still do that. I mean, you guys will be gaining insanity, and you can try to clean it up to sort of recover
Right.
some of this stuff, or not have to deal with it.
But obviously, I have a limited number of uses of these spells at a given time, so.
Certainly.
So but what we are going to do is that when you encounter these kind of horrific things, unless it's just like an automatic like GM award, like you take a point of insanity, you can try to resist it by making a will challenge. Okay. But you could take some banes based on how serious the horror is.
Sure, I mean, coming face to face with a demon with 1,000 eyes that looks like a tree would.
That's in part why you guys got, the 2d6, but also sort of the other stuff that we haven't been tracking.
I completely understand. I would be insane at this point too.
So between Ichabod, 808, and Morgan, is anybody close in terms of their insanity to will? I think Ichabod was 1 away, right?
Yeah, I'm 11 of 12.
I am 6 of 14.
Okay.
Nice. You're stable.
Yeah.
I'm 7 of 11.
Okay, cool.
And as you look at insanity stuff, Aaron, the Zealot X or Master Path, their mastery is in insanity. So most of their skills are around them going insane. So just take a look at that mastery path and keep that in mind as you're coming up.
And we'll likely play it as, when you guys have abilities that affect insanity and madness, we'll play it as canon, and then we'll figure out ways to apply it to my fight, flight, freeze kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the Zealots thing is whenever they go mad, they automatically go to a violence result. So they're
automatically going to fight, right? They're not. There's no freeze or flee.
Yeah.
For a Zealot. So that's how I would rule it.
That's clean.
But I will look at the Zealot Master Path probably after tonight's session. Not try to derail things too much more. So go ahead.
I mean, if you have something else before we get into the story, there was something I wanted to ask, but in our time, have we made any money?
I'm kind of hand waving some of that stuff. What is your question about money? Because it's been over a long period of time. You've become almost like champions or patrons you have patrons within the city that support you. You know, Opie's ask for a longbow is a pretty easy ask, but if you had a bigger ask, then there might be a cost or a price associated with it. So what do you?
It's not super big. So I realized like over the last week I'd been reading one of the rules for my nature tradition wrong, and I read it as you can't wear armor at all. Actually, you just can't wear heavy armor.
Okay. Yeah.
So I wanted to get some armor. I just wanted to get some hard leather armor for Morgan just to give her something.
Sure. Do that.
Especially if that thing leapt in the air, almost crushing her had you not rolled a 3.
Yep.
Again, right on the ley line.
Yeah.
And then
that's the only thing that I was looking for.
And then I'll also remind the party that there are a couple of magic items that you've been carrying around with you.
Yep.
The crystals from the shrine.
I was very close to using that last time.
There's a scroll of blessing. There's a clay jar, which helps in understanding languages. An elven coin.
I'm carrying the elven coin. That's why I'm floating.
And some elven vials that you don't know what they are. Actually, by now you would know that you would have had an opportunity to study them or find somebody that could help you, though you're all some of you are fairly well attuned to the arcane by now. They are healing potions.
Ooh, I was about to ask if we could buy some healing potions.
And then there is the Grinning Fae amulet, which I believe Morgan wears, that has the boons, but also has a Willbane.
It does.
And
can I carry one of those healing potions?
Certainly can.
I'm just reminding you of what the party's found. I kind of expect that you guys are tracking them on your character sheets yourselves, but I didn't want you to forget about these.
Oh, I'd forgotten a lot of them, so thank you.
I got the clay jar and the magic amulet and the chaos shards written down.
And 8008135 has the incantation of blessing because he was initially the only real caster that we had.
Fantastic. Does anyone remember how many healing potions we had? Those
there are
files?
two. There are two.
Okay. So Ichabod wants one, and then do we want Gideon to have the other?
He's big into self-deprivation, so
besides Morgan's on this adventure.
Hair, shirts, and all of that. That's going to be awesome.
I mean, he'll take an anti-healing potion.
I did see in the starting equipment you can buy a wire shirt and scour. Basically, my first thought was, what is there some kind of weird BDSM community in this game? And I thought, no, this is self-flagellation for zealots and these guys. So, where was that? I'll find it. Leave it to me to find those things.
Right.
I know.
Right. Okay, I'm just grabbing a drink. I'll be right back with you.
Sure.
Yeah, I think my dwarf's coming together.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, especially after figuring out the adept, I think that's perfect because I want to go from adept and artificer. Because I see he's going to be the kind of guy who could work on 8008.
Yeah.
He's super curious and he's always tinkering or something.
Yeah, what I thought was really cool about the adept class is that I think it's their 5th level talent lets them on the same turn cast a spell and do a melee attack.
Oh, nice.
Which I thought was just perfect. Or he builds something and he's trying to smash someone over the head too. Like
yeah. You can see him just like Rocket putting this thing together and then hitting him with it. Bam.
Yep. Exactly.
We call that electricity. Now sit down.
Oh yeah. And what's interesting is, so you're a tinker. My dad, who's playing a goblin, is also kind of quirky around engineering type things. So, and then you have a huntress.
And I find it so funny. Stanley's playing female elves.
Yeah, he was really sad when he found out there weren't elves in the system, and he was like, "All right, well, human, female elf." Or not female elf, female.
Human female.
Yeah, and then when it came to the professions, that's just literally what he rolled up. So
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I play plenty of women. I just never thought Stanley was the kind of guy who would play female characters.
Oh, he's been playing female characters.
Since he's pretty much started with your dad's game anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Sabrina was the name of his character in my dad's game. So we like to spin around with the battle axe.
I can see Stanley doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, where was this place?
Okay.
Pot. Oh, cooking. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for.
Not that one? Hard leather, that's what it is. Yeah, when I realized it just said you can't wear heavy armor, I was like, oh! I was getting real worried.
Yeah, fortunately it's not a D&D wizard.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
I'm back with you.
Cool.
So
now she has a defense of 13.
What I had heard the party had planned to do was go down to the docks, get a boat,
Yes.
and strike out for this
island.
This island.
It's a terrible idea, but it's the one we got.
Okay.
It's a really bad idea.
So heading down to the docks.
Sticking very, very closely together.
Morgan is actually casting her light spell in her hand to try and illuminate something.
I don't know if you've ever had turn on your headlights in a heavy fog. It just kind of bounces back at your eyes, and
it's like being in a snowstorm.
It's like being in a snowstorm. It doesn't do much more for the illumination other than kind of brightening up the space between you and your companions.
But it offers a point for the companions to focus on so we don't get separated.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm more thinking of it as a beacon as opposed to actually lighting the way.
Okay.
And gives the enemy something better to aim at.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it does. We don't want to give them any disadvantages here.
Bring it on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
So the fog starts playing tricks on your senses. I had talked about how the sound was incredibly muffled. Your vision is heavily obscured, and sometimes you see a shadow glimpsed in the corner of your eye, but then it's just the shifting fog. And then Ichabod, feels. Some of you feel like a prickling of the hairs on the back of your neck.
By the pricking in our thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Something malevolent, not of this world, is swirling through this mist.
Morgan casts Sense Magic.
Sense Magic?
Yep.
Sure, just tick it down off your casting. There is magic. It's like an overwhelming, it's in the fog itself, the magic, but down by the docks, Morgan picks out, what's that? A red mist swirling its way off the water across the docks, and some huddled shapes there on the wharf itself.
Are the shapes radiating magic?
They are not.
Okay.
Are they the size of children?
No, they're the size of men. But they're shadowy. It's Morgan that has more of the sense through the sensing of the magic. She's the one that sees the redness of the mist. All Ichabod and Opie see are just the fog, nothing more than the fog. And there occasionally a sound like a laughter.
Now, 8008, didn't he have night vision or whatever when we were in the mines? Can he see it all through the fog better than Ichabod?
I technically, that's not a rule for the Clockworks. I think we may have
Gotcha.
allowed it for some magical reason, but that's actually one of the other additional things in the supplement is that you can pay to have your Clockwork upgraded with
like skill points or something like that.
Yeah.
Bucket seats, air conditioning.
Yep.
Nice stereo.
Actually,
hydraulics.
does 808 want to create something from his Artificer's bag that would allow us to pierce through the fog?
I'll figure out what it would be.
What do you think on that? We need to move towards those people on the dock.
Yep.
Ichabod, you hear a string of strange words, deep muttering voices, punctuated with bits of laughter.
Mm-hmm. This is not a healthy, wholesome night to be laughing in.
Morgan, you can see you're all coming down towards the docks, right? Making your way through the narrow alleys and doing your best to find your way through this thick pea soup of fog. And you cast your detect sense magic, and we're overwhelmed by the sense of magic all around you through this fog itself. It is magical in its own right, but there is a greater magic coming up off the water across the wharf, a red mist that you can see burning in your mind's eye. What will you do?
Morgan will stomp her foot on the ground and cast Shillelagh and have her staff just come up out of the ground into her hand.
Okay.
Preparing herself in the event that she has to do something.
All right. Ichabod and 808 make an agility challenge with a bane for the fog.
Oh, luckily that was one of the items that I increased my stat in.
Luckily.
Mm-hmm.
The two of you, it's almost like this sort of
actually, hold on, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
If a Clockwork ever gets a negative value for a check, it winds down and becomes an object. So I'd like to suggest that happens, and Ichabod is distracted. Whatever's going on is distracted and trying to help 808, and is not aware of whatever's about to happen.
Yeah, I would stop to help wind him up.
Yeah.
Sure. So you, right. That's interesting. So like a negative result results in you winding down and becoming inanimate until you can be wound again. Is that what you were saying? Okay. All right. Yeah, that's an interesting effect, penalty,
something to save a fortune point for there.
Something to save a fortune point for.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And Ichabod, you're distracted. You're distracted by what's happening with 808 as you're walking through the mists and seeing him wind down.
Because he should be fully wound. That's odd, but I'm going to help wind him up.
And you go to help him, and you roll your ankle, and you stumble and fall, and 808 comes down on top of you. You're not hurt, but you're kind of pinned beneath him, and you look to your left, and then you look to your right, and you can see these dry husks of people had come spilling out of local watering hole down here by the docks. And they're just staring you in the face.
They're not human anymore.
They're not animate either. They're corpses. They're dead. I'll give you a handout.
Oh, okay.
And
they're literally dried human husks lying on the ground.
Something ate
Oh.
them. Something ate them.
I think the fog did this.
I think you're right. But I don't know where you are, and you don't know where I am, I think.
This
That's
is
my
the
guess.
next one. I have no clue that you encountered these.
Make a perception challenge with the Bane, Morgan.
Okay.
Well, I know where we are. We're obviously in a Stephen King movie.
Yeah. All right. So that brings me to 2 boons.
Ooh.
Ooh, just barely.
Mm.
Woo!
Not going to bother with the handouts. You know where they are. You saw them go down in the clattering of the fog.
Well, yeah, and you heard the crunch.
I think I heard it was really happening.
Right.
So I slowly and carefully make my way over there.
And from the building from which these corpses fled, you see the red mist swirling out towards you. We're in initiative. Will you go fast or slow? Ichabod, make a will challenge for staring death literally in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, coming.
And then I need to know if I can reach his foot.
Depends on which way he fell on you.
No, I totally do not make my roll.
Okay. So you earn.
Oh, is it going to put you over?
You
the
earn
edge?
at least one more point of insanity, which will take you to the limit.
Fight,
right?
flight, or freeze.
Right, that's right. So
And
I'm 12 of 12.
12 of 12, and you are fight, flight, or freeze. Which will you choose?
I'm gonna have to go with freeze since I can't do
Okay.
anything else.
So you will.
You're pinned and frozen.
You're pinned and frozen as you're kind of like staring, gibbering at this corpse that's looking back at you. And I really do want to give the handout. Why don't you guys tell me what you're doing in terms of initiative?
How
And we'll
long does freeze last for?
How long do what last for?
How long
My
do each of
freeze.
the insanity effects last?
Oh, until he makes a will challenge, which
Oh,
you can
no.
do on every turn, every round.
Okay, so 808's down, Ichabod's down, Morgan versus the Red Mist, mono a mono. Okay, we're going fast.
Fast, okay.
I would assume I have to go slow because if
Well, you'll go between the phases, right?
Oh, okay,
You'll go between the rounds where you make your check. And
just tell me when I get to make a roll.
I will. I'll be sure to do that. I do want to give you the handout because I think it's important.
It's fine. To freak us out some more, I get it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As far as setting a mood, you're setting it if you're curious.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we're
It's working.
It's working. It's working.
You could stop now.
If you go back to 1,000 Eyed Demons, we'd be okay.
You have suddenly missing that thing.
The enemy I know is better than the enemy I don't.
I think you're correct.
What are we going
At least
to call
that
this?
was resistant to my magic. This might be completely resistant to my magic.
Oh, good Lord, let's hope not.
Well, if
There
it is,
is
at
a
least
handout.
smack it around a little bit because I actually went ahead and brought up my staff. So I should have something.
Well, hopefully whatever this thing is, it ate enough already. I'm painting a wabbit.
Wabbit. Wabbit. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's not good. Okay, for the record, I don't want to look like that.
No one wants to look like that.
Guess I should have burned a fortune point to make that will save.
Well, it had to happen at some point.
Yeah. Oh, that will save. Right. How many fortune points are you carrying, Ichabod?
I don't know. Let's take a look. Can't be many. He has 2.
Okay, you might want to hang on to them.
Yeah, I plan.
But
Yeah, I'm glad I have been saving Morgan's fortune points because even after spending 4 fortune points last session, she still has 5 left. So
oh, and we do have an initiative tracker here on the.
I put my little die on there.
Everybody else, Will, what color are you? Morgan, you're blue. I'm just going to drop everybody else.
Yep.
Oh, I guess I could have left mine.
Morgan in the red mist.
Does it smell like honey? If it is, it's that episode of Star Trek.
Oh no.
The Vampire Cloud.
Mm-hmm. It smells like honey.
Yeah.
It smells like sickly sweet honeysuckle.
Like drowning in honey.
Like a fog machine at a ministry concert.
Oh, you guys look like you're having a ball.
We had a great time. It was awesome.
That's so cool. How long ago was the first time you went to ministry together?
We went just last year too. We saw them in San Francisco together. Just on a regular tour. It wasn't anything to do with Wax Tracks.
Right.
The crowd was not as old. Yeah, but the first time we saw them together was at the Edge in Palo Alto in '88.
Yeah,
89.
That's what I thought.
I still had my mohawk.
Yeah.
So
you fit right in.
Yeah. All right. So Morgan, it's your action. What will you do?
So Morgan sees the red mist and looks at it and has her staff in her right hand, extends her left palm out, and casts Burning Beam at the mist.
Okay. Okay.
And she will make the spell potent so that if it hits, it'll take 2d6 extra damage. But she's actually got a roll to make it hit.
And you're near your companions just in terms of the blowing up part?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to set the theater of the mind, as it were.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's just set the situation to even more dire.
Yeah. Fortunately, this is only going to be one strain, so if I blow up, it's only a 1 yard radius. So you're probably okay at this point. But as this battle goes on, it's going to get really bad really fast.
I'm shielded by 8008. I'm all right.
Okay, so this is a will attack against the Mist's agility.
Okay.
Oh, that's a big puzzle.
That will hit. And it does some damage.
So that's 1 point from the normal 1d6. And then I roll the extra 2d6. So total of 6 points of damage.
And this is a burning beam?
Yeah, this is basically
celestial starlight, moonlight.
Mm-hmm, exactly. In this case, based on the time of day, it's probably going to be moonlight. I'll be right back.
All right.
I'll wait here.
Like we can do anything.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my roommate needed the mail key.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'm just lying here under nails.
Yeah, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect mono a mono at the beginning.
Hey, neither did I. I didn't expect a blackout in the face of terror, but hey, that means my sanity's back at 0.
Is that the canon? Is that the way it works? Canon.
That's what you said. After the madness clears, it's reset.
So canon, I believe, is
what I meant to say was that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ethan.
Cannon is reduced by 1d6 plus your will modifier.
Right.
Oh.
So it recovers some, but not a lot. Right.
And you get a minimum of 1, is what it says.
Okay, so mine's a d6 plus 2.
Okay.
Nice.
So there's 3 back.
So when you recover, but you can keep that roll or you can roll it again. We'll just do it as when it's required.
I'm going with the GM's offer of re-rolling it because it can't be worse. So I'm going to lay here babbling for a while.
Frozen and pinned beneath 808. Are you on his front side, his side, or his back side? Where is his foot that you wanted to wind?
Well, as I looked down, he toppled because he was mid-step.
Mm-hmm.
So he came down, and I'm actually pinned underneath his legs, underneath the curve of what would be knees, all kind of tangled in there. And I think I can get my left hand around to his heel and wind him up, but I'm not sure before I freaked out.
Okay, we'll see if that can happen. If you can, once you can recover from your freeze effect. You cast Burning Beam and did how much damage, Morgan?
60.
6 points.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like 60. 60 is better.
It's not much, but in fairness, it's a cantrip. So,
Hey, in fairness, we don't know what this thing is or anything.
yeah.
It would suck to start with a TPK, though. Let's be honest.
It would. It would mean Yakufa would get to shine a little bit. It'd be really anticlimactic for Morgan, but
yeah.
That's the cool thing is because we have extra characters, it wouldn't be a TPK.
yeah.
Just for
This is that moment where you're like,
just for the
where's
night.
Yakufa when you need him? Ugh.
Okay, so now the mist comes billowing down
I bet.
into the area where you guys are, and out of the building, and everybody it's at now the end of the round.
Okay. I should roll for an explosion.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and roll for your explosion.
All right.
Hey,
It'll just be a Oh, I explode. 1 yard radius.
Okay, roll a d3 to see how close you are to your friends.
Okay. Here. 1. We're starting off with that, guys.
How much damage do you do when you blow up?
Ideal. Oh, good lord. I believe. Yeah. Okay. 1d6 per point of power. So I deal 46 to everything in the area.
All right. Do you want to roll it?
Hang on. Every creature can make an agility challenge to take half damage.
We can't do
the ones that are objects and trapped under things that are objects.
I'm unconscious.
You can do the agility check anyway to see if this is like if it's gonna. Actually, you're gonna take half damage no matter what because you're prone and she's standing and it's kind of just this blasting radius.
Right.
So can we do an agility check to take quarter damage?
So full damage is 12.
Is what?
Full damage is 12. Half damage is 6. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
These guys are taking half damage. 6. So you guys take 6 points from being blown from the celestial sunburst that is Morgan.
I'm
but
glad
it
that's
also
going to
blows the mist. It blows the mist away.
But I'm glad it's also going to give me a boon to waking up.
Yes. Go ahead and make your challenge.
It's a will.
Your will challenge with a boon.
Out of curiosity, since the mist is basically coming at us and at this point I assume is on top of us, does it take any damage?
It does. Ichabod is revived for the next round.
What the hell?
But what happens as a result of the explosion is that the red mist gets blown up into like the second story kind of the city, and it's not down amongst you right now. Ichabod wakes. 808 is still
Laying on
inert.
top of me.
It's a new round. What will you do?
Am I close enough that with the
How much?
fast
You did 12 to this thing?
Oh yeah. So yeah, yep, 12 with my explosion.
All right.
Am I close enough, considering I'm essentially my explosion hit them, that I could kneel and wind up
Yes.
808 with fast, or do I need to go slow for that?
You could do that fast. You're both kind of right there.
Because I figure if I wind up 808, then 808 and Gideon can both use their actions to stand up, and then we can run. As opposed to wasting actions to have, not Gideon, Ichabod try and wind it and then get up and whatnot. So
Right.
I
Okay.
will go fast. Because I think we need to get out of here.
Okay. And Ichabod, will you go fast or slow?
Well, I think I'm going to have to go slow because it's kind of contingent on. It's going to be a lot easier to get out from underneath 8008 if he's starting to move, I would assume.
Okay. All right. So the thing is going slow, and let's see. Let's put a die on the chart for you. Oops.
This is where I really wish I'd taken that other spell right now.
Oh, here, now that I'm awake, could I roll a D6? What is it? A D?
Oh,
D3.
for how much?
Oh, it's a D6 plus your will for your insanity recovery.
That's it. That's better.
6
So
points.
I recover 6. Nice. I'm feeling a little better. A little embarrassed. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I let the team down there.
Yeah, this is when I wish I'd taken the spell Destroy Magic.
What were you thinking?
No.
All right. Under notes, I'm putting my next reaction.
Or you can just put, the three basic reactions and put an X by the one you've already done, or whatever you like. You don't need to pre-program your next reaction.
Gotcha.
But you won't be able to freeze next.
Right.
Right? Only until you get through fight and flight. And Gideon always fights. Ichabod, why don't you throw a D? Oh, you did throw a D6 to the table thing, so I'll use that as a marker for you.
Just trying to help. Sorry.
There we go. And you were going slow, I believe.
Yes, because it doesn't make sense that I should go fast because I'm pinned.
Mm-hmm.
And this way, if I survive, I can get up and do something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Morgan, you wind 808, who then starts to stir 808.
Fantastic.
You can go slow this round, so this thing's also going slow. So the heroes, Ichabod and 808 can take their 2 actions for slow.
This is the time we're very happy the heroes go first.
Mm-hmm.
So we are running.
Well, we're getting up at the moment.
We could run if we could.
Okay,
I just
so I'm
wanted
gonna
to
get
get you all up.
Yeah, I'm getting up.
Can we see this thing, or can only Morgan see it?
Oh, good point.
You can see it now. It's like the fog has become red, like blood red.
And I
Alright.
blasted some of the fog in a little area away for you.
Okay. I'm standing up. I'm standing up and casting.
Are you casting? What are you casting?
I am casting not spellbound weapon. That was my first choice. But that nope, fire blast. Flames rush out of your hand, dealing 3d6 damage to everything in the area. Each creature, which would be an area of mist, takes half with, I think it's an agility. Yes, half damage with an agility roll. So I figure a cone of fire is a good way to deal with something mist-like.
And what's the range here? Is it
3 yards long, originating from a point I can reach.
okay?
And I like to think I shoot it out of the tip of the sword.
And it's a cone, right?
It is a cone, yeah.
and the mist is above you, so you're blasting it into the air.
Right.
It's like sort of trying to reform itself after being blown away by Morgan's explosion.
Which also would reduce damage, collateral damage to the buildings around, which we always get chewed out about.
Darn Sokovia Accords.
Okay. Go ahead and make your casting roll or whatever you need to do there. Just tick down your spell, throw your damage.
I took it down and I roll 3d6. Ooh, that was nice.
Ooh,
So it's sort of a
I say thanks, Morgan, as I stand up.
remember when you were a kid and you would pour the coffee creamer over your lighter and it would like
Yeah.
That's what happens.
No, I never did that.
You never did that?
He never carried a lighter.
I never had a lighter.
I did that in college. That's when I was carrying a lighter.
I had no purpose for a lighter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so you do 34 points of damage.
Oh!
Double damage. Interesting.
Oh!
Don't forget to mark down your
I'll mark the spell off.
Yeah.
I am suddenly very happy I went 808 for you.
And as I stand up in the name of the one.
There can be only one.
The only
So
you gonna do
think about
808?
this?
Oh! You guys, oh my god! You guys
The unclean must burn. we are throwing fire. The three of us.
So, as my second slow action, I'm going to cast this spell, which allows me to have it, but then I can't. I've got 6 uses, and I'm sure I'll be able to use it next turn. Because the casting creates it, and then I have the ability to.
Gotcha. Still, nice roll.
Oh my goodness.
And I like the way it a little door opens over your left shoulder, and this tube comes out on one of those sort of extending ladder things, almost. And it comes out and it turns and pivots in place. It's a part of you. It's not a spell. It grows out of you all of a sudden.
So you created this thing as like a utility spell. Is that right?
Well, it's a technomancer spell. This is my 7th level spell that I got.
I was just thinking of the visuals. That's what I was doing.
Okay, cool. So you have a flamethrower, and you cast this spell. That was your one action. That was like kind of your spell or your attack, and you can do a move or you can do something else with your second
I figured standing up was my first action.
It was correct. Okay, good. So that was the round. Let's see.
Well, that was a productive round for Morgan.
This thing's going slow. It starts to kind of flow off away from the alley, kind of up above the rooftops, away from you guys.
We're not running, we're chasing it.
New round. What will you do? Faster, slow?
Are we? Slow, because I need to see what my companions are doing.
Okay.
Is that thing still in the range of my cone? Or if I run after it, will it be in the range of my cone? Because I can cast it 2 more times.
Oh my goodness.
It's a cantrip. No, it's a first level.
So you're kind of in a narrow alley. There's a building on either side of you as you're kind of wending your way down towards the docks. The docks are probably a move away from you. You could try to chase this thing by moving around the buildings. You could go into the buildings and try to pursue it. There are some other. Those are some options that I see. You may have some other ideas about how to pursue it.
No, my goal is to pursue it and to continue to fire at it, causing as little collateral damage as possible, mostly hitting it. So I will continue to try to run around the buildings because all I need to do is get tangled up in something inside.
Okay.
That never works out well.
If you if you run around the buildings, you may become separated from your companions in the fog. That's the.
That's a valid point.
I'm just giving you that. You know that's a risk.
I do. Can I see this thing in the fog clearly?
It's you can see its color, right? It's sort of this trailing color of red, and that's what you're trying to pursue. That's what you're trying to get around the building to pursue. It's going to be like an agility challenge to get there with, with potentially some banes thrown into it.
I would have to pursue in order to shoot it.
Yes.
Do we feel like chasing this thing, or
because your range is limited? It's only 9 yards.
Oh yeah. It's not a long range thing at all. Yeah. And even my other one, I don't.
Hey, you want to chase it? We can chase it.
All I need to know is fast or slow.
Slow.
I've got the beastie going
I'm slow.
I've got Morgan going slow.
Crap, I'm going to go slow.
808.
Slow.
Okay. Go ahead and take your slow actions, gentlemen. 2 actions.
All right. Are we chasing it or recouping? The damage we got had was self-inflicted, though. We saw what it did to people.
Well, it can't do that to me.
No, good point.
So I'm going after it.
Let's go after it.
All right.
You think.
Right. Well, he's
a clockwork. He's a little.
He's a very confident clockwork.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, all right. His mode has always been rush in and beat things. So.
All right. Let's see it. So how are you going to pursue this thing? So you're in the alley. There's buildings on either side of you. The alley winds its way down towards the docks. The thing had been blown up above you, kind of like to the 2nd story level, and now it used its last move to kind of flow away from you.
And
you can see the trailing wisp
towards the docks.
It's going to the east, rather than the docks are to the north. You're traveling from the south to the north.
Does Morgan's detect magic give her the ability to detect the direction that strong magic is coming from? Can we use that as a way to track it?
To locate it? What's the duration on your sense magic, Morgan?
It's not long. I'd have to basically. I want to say it's like a minute or 5 minutes at a time, something like that.
And it's probably a concentration thing too. I think you've cast some other spells. Yeah. You could certainly recast it and use the sense magic to use that as like a bloodhound.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a cantrip, so I can cast it like 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, let's do this.
So
rather
Morgan
than just rushing in suicidally.
So Morgan kicks off the sense magic and uses a move to lead you to within short range of it.
Okay.
Nice.
That's
do you go into the buildings or do you stay in the streets?
I've used my move to cast an action, so I am in the street.
Okay, then you're in the streets.
Yes, being that everything we have is fire-based, we'll stay in the streets.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea.
Okay, so the 2 of you can use a move to follow along with Morgan.
Yes.
Make a perception challenge with a bane, not to become separated. Looks good for 808.
Not having a good day.
It looks bad for Opie. Opie,
Ichabod.
Sorry, Ichabod. Sorry, Ichabod.
Opie, that's no problem. Opie would have had a much better perception roll.
Yeah. So,
damn it, where'd they go?
You're separated from your 2 companions. They go right, and you went straight, kind of thing. And
yeah,
you thought it was the next right, and now you can't calling out. You can hear their footsteps, muffled and being swallowed up by the sound. What second action do you want to take before we move on to the other 2?
I'm going to light my sword.
Okay. It's nice. A spell. Tick it down. And what's the duration on burning sword?
4 hours.
Okay, let's just keep that in mind as 4 hours.
Because I figure if nothing else, maybe it'll help them see me.
Yeah, to be that other beacon in the fog.
So now I'm going to be, and in addition to that, I'll be trying to use my ears to follow up in their footsteps.
Okay, next round we'll get there.
Your sword is now magic, so I actually know where you are.
That's true. That's true. You also may have some magic items on your person that you might be able to detect also. That's interesting. But that's even better, you know, being able to detect the magical flaming sword. 808, you're like, you know, you're trailing after Morgan. You can see the mist kind of hanging above you. It's just like that tail edge of it. You're within short range of it, 5 yards of it, 15 feet of it. What will you do? You have one remaining
I will
action.
blast with my 5-yard flame thrower.
Okay.
Gets an agility challenge to take half damage, and it does 2d6.
It made it, so it takes half damage.
2 points.
Oh,
So it takes 4 points of damage. So you just catch the tail of it.
Well,
ahead.
no, I rolled 4 points, and so
Uh-huh.
half of that would be 2 points, right?
yes,
and
but
it's
it
doubled.
that,
And it's
Oh,
doubled
right,
because
right,
of the
okay.
fire damage. So you did 4 points to it. And you just catch the tail of it, and it sort of, you know, that bit of it just sort of singes away, and now it's out of range from you. And it continues to move. 2 moves now, continuing its kind of flight away. All right, new round. Will you go fast or slow? It's now, you'd need a move to keep it within range, and 2 moons to close with it.
Well, I need an action to fire, so I would just say I would want to just do whatever I need to keep it in range. So it sounds like move once and fire, so I'm going to go slow.
Yep.
Okay, I'll move slow to give him basically a direction to go.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I will also I'll use one action to point him in the right direction, and the other action I'll use to try and get Ichabod back to me.
Okay, so you're going slow. Ichabod, are you going fast or slow?
Since I'm trying to ascertain where they are and then move, I think slow is the wisest.
Okay.
I don't want to go running and then end up the wrong direction.
So it sounds like Morgan, maybe we start with Morgan. So you're going slow. Your first action would be to lead the pursuit of the red fog. And because it's up above the buildings, and it's now like to be able to now make an agility challenge with the Bane to see if you can keep up with it. You know, not get cut off by the twisting alleys and the blocking buildings and that kind of stuff.
And debris in the streets and the drunks and everything else. Yeah.
Or the dead drunks.
Oh yeah, the husks. Yeah, it's all. This is a creepy campaign.
No, unless you'd like to burn a fortune point. No. You turn into like an alleyway that kind of doubles you back towards the direction you came, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And by the time let's see, you could use a second move if you guys want to keep chasing it. I'll make another agility check with another Bane. But it would require then Morgan, 808 to use 2 moves, and he wouldn't be able to shoot this round, and you'd get further away. You'd get further away from Ichabod.
808.
I'm on mute. I'm just focused on wanting to get it since I've got this ability to breathe fire. So
this is great.
On his own, so I'm encouraging Morgan to lead the way.
Okay.
He'll be fine.
He's a big boy.
I will lead the way.
Okay, agility with the
With a bane.
With the bane.
Sorry.
I have completely lost it.
Oh, good job, Morgan.
Yep.
I'm just really concerned about Ichabod.
That's what's nagging you in the back of your mind.
Exactly. It's throwing off my concentration.
You do eventually find one another in the fog. Maybe,
Okay.
Just going towards the original destination of the docks. And Morgan, you can sense the fog settling down here to the south, to the southeast of the city.
Mm.
You're at the docks. What will you do?
So, in which, not that it really matters or really will indicate anything, but which direction was the fog, the evil fog going when we last saw it?
It was going off this way to the east. And Morgan, as you kind of reconnoiter and make your way to the docks here, meeting up in your original destination, Morgan senses the fog has settled down in the southeast corner of the city.
The red fog?
Mm-hmm. The fog is still just blanketing the entire city of Crossings.
I think we need to hunt this thing down and burn it.
Well, unfortunately, that was my only shot at this flamethrower thing. So,
You're still carrying it. You haven't used all
it
your
has six uses.
I
Does it?
thought
It just has 6 uses. Doesn't look like it has a time limit.
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's
All
one of
the
the
more reason.
advantages of technomancy.
Technomancy and being a clockwork, it just makes sense these things would pop out of you.
Mhm.
Like very James Bondy or,
Mhm.
I don't know if any of you have seen Steam Boy. We got great visuals in that.
What are you doing, Kelly? What are you doing? So
Yeah,
you're gonna
you
hunt
got
it. You guys are gonna hunt it. You're gonna hunt it down in the
I think we should.
Are we?
I think we should. And we know fire hurts it because we saw it shriveling. We saw the fire and it ran from us. Otherwise, we'd be husks. No, it's going to eat the city if we leave it because nobody knows it's here. Nobody knows what it can do. It's up to us. We've got to do it.
I just don't want to use all of my sense magics to hunt this thing down.
Well, you still have it active, right? What kind of duration does it have? Or is it clearly stated?
I want to say it's like a minute. Just double check that though.
Well, you know where it last was.
Right. So my thought is, worst comes to worst, if it is, don't cast anything else, because if you can keep that going, then don't cast anything else.
It has no time limit.
Yeah, so if it's a concentrate, I would say I would rule it as concentration. As long as you continue to concentrate on that spell, or don't if you get hit, it would be a will roll to be able to maintain that concentration, that kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah.
I like that. That works. Okay.
So you're pursuing it across the city. So it takes you some time to make your way across the city. And
goddamn fog.
Now the question is, do we enter anything else while we're hunting this down? As the prey, or as the predator becomes the prey?
Do you smell honey?
Oh my goodness.
You've got to watch the original Voyages.
I've seen some of it.
Oh, good. We don't have to add that to your list then. Just for context.
Yeah. my parents had some of that, so.
Good.
Wow. I'm making a list for Aaron, so it's all even.
Yeah, I know. We've all got our lists.
Yep.
Um,
So you said it was heading south?
yeah. So you get down to the Grain Way. It's like a main avenue. The fog is a little less thick here, mostly because of the broad avenue and it can't cling to as many buildings. You can see a little bit further. And you can see like a group of terrified townsfolk are like making their way down towards you, and they're like they're fleeing from something.
Mm-hmm.
You can stop and help them, or you can drive on towards your
Objective.
objective.
I suggest we stop and help them, if only because Morgan believes that it is the right thing to do to help people. So
Yeah, I think the best way to help these people is go kill that thing which is terrifying them.
I think we should at least tell
Besides
these people no.
Yeah, we're
Like,
telling
leave the city.
them. Stay out of the fog. Stay out of the fog.
Like, go stay with your cousins out in the verge for a couple weeks while we sort this out.
Way to instill confidence.
So you're not helping them. You're driving on.
Yes.
Well, Morgan will go and talk to them.
You're going to separate you're the Cincy magic one, right?
Yes, I am.
Or you're going to stop and speak to them.
I want to make sure that they're safe.
Okay.
And then we will. I look at Ichabod and anyway. We will continue the hunt, but we need to make sure the people of this city are safe.
Well, they're trying to get down to.
The water.
They're trying to get to one of the gates to get out of the city. This one or this one. They're like just babbling about that the horror and the insidiousness of it all. That's here in this part of town.
They're fine.
Edge.
They're fine. Look, they're fine. They're leaving.
And then behind them, from this edge of from the limit of your sight down the Grain Way, you can see staggering mobs of those husk-like corpses making their way down the street this way.
Oh, and they're moving.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
What will you do?
Be disappointed that the dead things are moving. Damn it!
How far away is the mob?
They're probably 15 yards away, but that's like kind of the limit of your sight, and you can just see. You can just see a few of them, right? And what you get from the villagers, what you get from the townsfolk, is that they say they're hundreds. And they're coming.
Hundreds?
We have to get out of the city. Get lit, take us, help us. Ah! And they're just like gathered around you, panicking, screaming. Some are like fleeing off into the darkness and screams as they get snapped up by some other boar in the night.
Okay, we got to get these people out of here.
No, we need to go to the source of it and stop whatever's doing this. That's what'll save them.
I agree.
Right, but it sounds like they're not gonna just leave on their own.
They're trying to get to the gates, and they're running. They're a panic mob. So yeah, I say we press on.
Yeah, they're going this way, and they're like, "To hell with you!" And they're going this. Their plan is to go out the iron, follow the Grain Way down to the Iron Road or to the Exteriors Road. They think that's probably riskier.
Okay.
It's probably safer because it's away from the horror that's pursuing them. It's moving pretty slowly.
Okay. Well, if you guys are certain they're going to get out alive, we can go deal with the source of this thing.
I'm certain of nothing, but that we have to deal with the source of this thing.
If we don't, they'll just keep making more.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we know it burns. All unclean burns. Let's go fry this thing. Messing with my town. They're messing with my town.
Yeah, they're messing with my people.
Damn mist.
I'm also a healer, so like.
Yeah, save it for us. We're gonna need it because I don't want to be a husk.
So you dash away down an alleyway, away from the shambling mob, away from the fleeing citizens, down, pursuing your quarry. And there, you spy it. The red fog. We're in the melee. Do you need help, buddy? Got it. We're in a melee, and fast or slow.
How far is it away?
15 yards.
I will have to go. I will have to go slow.
I will go slow, just so I can keep this thing targeted for my companions.
Okay. And it's going slow also.
Okay.
And go ahead and take your actions, heroes.
After you, my clockwork friend. Just don't fall on me again.
Morgan points exactly where it is and says, "There, aim
And
there."
you can kind of see the redness of the fog, surrounding a building.
11 o'clock, 30 degrees north, or 30 degrees latitude up. Go.
I will make a. Will I be within range if I move a single move? How far do we move?
Yes.
So I will move once, and then fire my flamethrower.
At the red fog that's surrounding this large building.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, step in close to the building so you're firing up, trying to avoid as much of the building as possible. But I think the city fathers will forgive any damage when they see all walking husk people.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll. Agility roll for half, eh?
Do I roll that, or do you?
I'll roll it, but why don't you roll your damage, and then we'll do the agility roll for half, and then we'll figure out what the total is.
Yep.
Okay.
7.
Respectable.
It fails, so it takes full damage. It takes 14 points.
There you go.
Nicely done.
Okay. Ichabod. Morgan, what will you do?
Ichabod, you're up.
I'm running forward to get within range like he did, and I'm using my cone of fire.
You're going to use the cone of flame? Okay.
Yep, fire blast. Trying to stand directly under it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your damage.
It's my last one of those.
Mm.
Oh,
All right.
not very good. Still, it doubles to 10.
It'll double, but let's see if it can. Oh, does it? Oh, but this is not an agility for half, or is it?
I think it is.
Okay,
think it is.
Sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes 5.
Let's double check it. Each creature in the area takes half the damage of the excessive agility. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Breaks my heart. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
You could use a fortune point to turn one of those 2s into one into a 6.
I only have 2.
All right. I'm just reminding you of your options.
I appreciate that. I do.
Who's next? Morgan, what will you do?
Morgan takes a look at the creature, puts her staff behind her back, and just lets loose a flurry of magical darts at this creature, and is going to use her potent spell to make each of them do an extra 2d6 damage.
So these are like darts, right? Like,
Yeah, these are darts of magical energy, basically. They're like magic missiles, essentially.
It's like Gambit throws in the X-Men.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 7
All right.
darts. Each one does 2d6 plus 1 damage.
Like a machine gun. Okay.
Pretty
And
much.
did you power this up with the?
Yep. So I'm at 1 strain now.
Are we using a D10 or a D20 to track, or D12 to track your strain?
Right now I'm at a D6 because I'm not high enough, but I think I was using a D10 last time.
I'm just curious what we'll use to track your strain, but that's fine. Go ahead and make
I'm
your
just
roll,
curious
and then
how
we'll see if
far
you
away
blow
is-
up at the end of the round.
Just keep your
That is-
distance.
Yeah, 7 darts is 2d6. That's 14d6 plus 7.
Yeah, let's stay away from us.
56. Yeah, so that magical that magical shotgun blast is enough to like just scatters the red mist into nothingness.
Nice. Makes up for my lousy shooting.
But-
Because your fire attacks weren't too significant, there's no risk of burnt of setting a fire here in the city.
Okay.
The one benefit of crappy rolls. All right, I'll take it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Okay, you're like hands on your knees, like panting. You know.
What the hell was that?
Did you blow up?
I blew up.
Roll a d3 to see how close you are to your companions.
Well, they ran ahead, so I stayed back.
Yeah.
Right. They got within a move. You were there with them. You just did your casting and you didn't move. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No risk to your companions.
Yeah, because I used one action or part of my non-combat to point, and then my combat to shoot, basically.
Let's roll your damage anyway and see if you knock down any buildings. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
The building behind you just like it's like a nuclear blast hitting it. Just.
We're blaming the red mist. You know that.
Of course.
All right. What will you do? You're on the far side of the city from your original destination, which was to head down to the docks.
Right, but we think this thing's been dissipated.
It clearly has been dissipated,
Okay.
though. Morgan doesn't have her sense magic up anymore, though she could cast it again.
Because I dropped concentration for that spell.
Yeah, well, it was worth it.
We definitely dropped concentration for that.
Well, I think it was hunting here.
Everybody take a point of corruption for not helping the townspeople when they asked you to.
Yep. See,
That's fair.
wanted to help them townspeople.
I don't know what corruption. Actually, don't do that. No corruption. I don't know what I'm going to do with corruption. I need to think about it. So
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that bad. You just, you met a group of fleeing people in the street.
And we couldn't have helped them much if
You didn't murder them. You didn't set
No.
them on fire.
we didn't stop them from getting away.
True. Okay, that's not corruptible.
Thank you.
We didn't shout, "Hey, husks, they're over here."
Yeah. I do think we speaking of husks, I think we need to go eliminate that. We need to see if those things are still walking around. If they are, we need to start eliminating them.
There were hundreds of them. I mean,
That's that's what these folks said. But how many did we see?
There's 20.
Right. How many did we see?
if they're close enough together, I could probably wipe them out in one shot. But like,
my point is, we're the Avengers. We really at level 7.
this is the first Avengers movie. We
Right.
haven't hit your Endgame yet.
Oh no. And we don't have that cool shield that Iron Man apparently has in Infinity War.
Oh yeah, nanobots.
which I'm taking with me this weekend when I house sit at Heather's because I'm going to watch it for the first time.
So
Infinity War.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh, we're seeing the second one, Endgame or whatever it is, on Saturday.
I'm seeing it Saturday night.
Oh, I wish I could see it soon. It's just I don't think I can get to it this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe I can go to a late show in San Mateo. I'll see.
I had to buy my
So-
ticket like a week in advance.
Thursday morning at about 10:30, I got a text from Grace from school saying, "I bought tickets for Endgame. We're going at 3:00 on Sunday."
Hey, nice.
3 a.m.
No, 3 p.m. We
Okay.
kept saying, no, we're not going to go this weekend. It's too crowded. No good tickets. So I guess after she finished her math homework, she got on her phone, found a place that's got 3 tickets with reasonable seats, used her own money and her own debit card to sign on and buy the tickets.
Wow, that was very grown up.
You know what? That was.
And then she said, "Are you going to reimburse me for the money?"
Which is very teenager, but still.
That's actually like that's
Maybe for your tickets, maybe not for her ticket, right?
That's exactly what we did. I
Oh.
said, "You didn't talk to us. You didn't plan or check to see what our schedule was. We will pay for our tickets. You pay for yours." And she was fine with that. So.
It's a good meeting of the middle, meeting of the
Yeah.
millions.
indeed. All right, are we heading to the docks?
Well, I do think we need to make a sweep and make sure there's not undead wandering around.
Yes.
Okay.
Light them up, and I'll light them up.
Well,
All right.
my hope is that the destruction of the red mist may have stopped them from being animated. Maybe they're unanimated like the ones down at the docks. But we need to know, and we need to tell the watch and alert people because again, it's just like zombies. You figure there's protocol in place after that happened.
Well, the protocol probably relies on being able to see.
Well, true, but hey, whatever. This is not the first weird thing happening in the city, so we have to deal with it.
That's true. All right. So I think, based on where we are, we'll go up the Grievings Road.
Shit balls, I just lost my notes. Oh well. No harm, no foul. Well, oh no, they're still here. I had
Anyway, never mind.
I had crashed Acrobat, and then I had been marking up the adventure, and
Oh, I see.
I thought I lost the notes, but I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we'll head up the Grievings to get to the Grainway.
Okay. So as you're making your way up, you see just like ahead of you is like is a lantern, like maybe on a pole, like on a watch lantern, and now you can start to hear like screams like echoing out around you in the city, but it's hard, with the fog, it's hard to tell which direction, how close, how far.
Morgan casts Life Sense.
Life sense. Okay.
It's basically like magic, but now she can detect life forms.
Sure. It's like they're people cowering in their buildings. You can see, you get senses of people. How kind of radius does it work for?
It's pretty small. It's 15 feet in radius.
Yeah. So there are people like cowering in buildings, and there's a dog running through the alley. And
Are there any large gatherings of people?
within 15 feet of you? No.
Okay.
Not like they're having a goddamn town meeting kind of people gatherings, but
Stop your grinning, drop your linen. Found them.
People who are obviously hiding from something, right?
yeah, it's it wouldn't be unexpected for people just to hide in their homes, in this kind of situation. When the fog rolled in over the city, that was the first reaction of many of the townsfolk.
Mm-hmm.
Was seal it up. Seal it up and hunker down.
Mm-hmm. So you can see this bobbing, you can see this lantern on a kind of leading the way down the road that you're following towards the Graneway.
Let's move towards the lantern.
You sure you want to move towards the lantern?
It's
starts
the only
taking a-
target we have.
It starts taking a series of twists and turns into some of the tighter alleys. Are you still following it?
You notice this lantern is actually visible through the fog that we can't see light through.
It's it's like just there, like almost like at the edge of your line of sight from the fog.
Mhm.
You did the same thing with the beacon that you had lit up with when you had cast light, remember?
Yeah.
It's that same kind of thing.
Morgan,
Call out to whoever seems to be carrying it. If there's no response, let's back off.
Okay.
No response. I say, let's go get them.
That's your plan? Get them?
Get them.
oh my goodness.
All right. We'll try calling out like they're a watchman.
Sure. So it
Hail,
stops.
Constable.
It stops, and then it takes a hard right into a building. What will you do?
Into a building?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's weird. Now we have to check it out.
Morgan is staying behind Ichabod and 808. And she casts arcane armor on herself.
I think Niels is otherwise engaged.
No, I'm here.
Okay, good.
So I was otherwise engaged. My wife was
That's
bringing
fine.
me food.
Niels, should we go investigate this thing or run? Because we're heroes.
Well, if it's in a building, all of our fire stuff may not be that useful, but
Well, that's fine. My sword's still burning, but I don't think it's red mist, but it's something.
And Morgan has cast arcane armor.
So
on herself.
as you guys are like standing here trying to figure out what to do, there's a shuffling of feet to your left, and you turn and you look, and you can see like that shambling mob of those husk corpses coming at you.
How many?
I'll tell you. Hang on.
Tell you what. Because if there's a lot, then we're going to follow that light into a building.
You sure?
Yeah, why not? One light's easier to deal with than 50 zombies.
well,
I
it may
wouldn't
be
bet.
that light. That light may have been
That light may have been the anglerfish.
exactly for
I know.
the zombies.
But wouldn't it still be sitting there waiting for us then?
It just went inside, which would signify that we just entered the mouth of the anglerfish.
Oh, okay. Cool. So let's waste these guys.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
You cast your arcane armor and then separate yourself a little from us.
Hang on. I'm still skimming some notes, and then we'll figure out how this.
Fine. I'm just reminding us what we want to do before we get killed.
Well,
So I'm like Captain America. No, Thor. I'm like Thor.
Put
my
the
weapon
hammer down.
Because my spellbound weapon, it gains a boon. It can be teleported to my hand if it's within a mile of me. And it can repair all damage to itself as long as there's one fragment remaining.
Yep.
It's fucking Mjolnir.
so what does that make me?
Scarlet Witch. Hello.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Duh.
Oh, does that mean I get to be Vision?
I think
Sure.
Yeah, but I think you're the Hulk or Iron Man. No, you're totally Iron Man. Yeah.
you're Iron Man with nano suit, where you keep busting out new gadgets just out of your armor.
You get that artificer box. You're totally Iron Man.
Good point. All right.
So I went ahead and with Morgan being much older, I changed her biopic, which is a little reminiscent of Scarlet Witch, just coincidence.
And that makes Aaron Thanos.
Oh,
Absolutely. Don't make him snap his fingers.
well,
Sure,
no,
He's
you
not my fingers at you.
see, if you do make him snap his finger, you better make him snap it again.
Mm.
There's a dozen.
Was that all?
Only a dozen.
I'm just checking. Yeah, just a dozen come out of the fog. You know, we're in a melee now. So go ahead and tell me if you're going fast or slow.
I'm going fast and pulling out a rock.
Okay.
How far away are they?
So
They're within short of you.
Okay.
They're
I'm
15. They're 15 feet away from you because of the limited
Visual.
visibility.
I'm slow because I can't afford to hit people with this if it goes off.
You're pulling out a rock.
And
He's
I'm
pulling out a
throwing
special
meteor.
That's your
Casting
plan.
meteor.
That's your plan.
Yeah. A rock. Stand behind the boulder. When he comes around the corner, hit him with the rock.
It's
Yeah, I'm
not
going to
very
cast meteor.
sporty.
It's like, my way is not very sportsmanlike.
Are you going fast to do that?
Yeah, because it's one action. I think.
Sure.
I figure I'm just. Hopefully, I can stop a number of them.
Sure, stop them before they come at you.
Yeah, and otherwise, it's down to the flaming sword.
Morgan?
Morgan is slow. She needs to be able to move so she doesn't incinerate everybody.
Morgan, and then 808.
Fast.
All right, the creatures are going slow.
Oh, and Opie's totally Hawkeye. Sorry on the tangent.
You are correct on that. That is very true. Yukufa is the Hulk.
I'll go with that.
Yukufa just allows himself to imbue the essence of the avatar of the Death God and just starts swinging and killing.
Yukufa smash!
No.
Interesting.
That makes Gideon Captain America.
No, I don't think that's
You need can you bounce that shield
crazy.
around?
Captain America crazy?
See, I feel like in some ways Ichabod and Gideon are both competing for the Thor spot.
Sure, he does. He can't call his hammer, but he does use a hammer.
That's
yeah,
it.
and he does call lightning down. Like
It's true.
and he can summon a hammer and send the hammer to go smash things.
That's right.
You guys are both competing for Thor.
There you go. Well,
And
he's
we
a
have-
god. It takes several of us. It takes several of us to do it.
We have no Captain America.
No, we really don't. We never have. None of our. The last campaign, there wasn't really anybody like that. We didn't have any.
None of us play characters that good.
Right, because he's a knight, or
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
he's a knight.
Forrest
Paladin.
was there.
Paladin.
Paladin, lawful good.
Yeah. Forrest was close.
Okay, fast heroes. Go ahead and take your actions.
So,
I'm just gonna roll the dice so you can see what it does. But after you, sir.
I let off with my flamethrower. It's 5 yards long and 1 yard wide, so it can get multiple people
Okay.
if they are in that range. Yep, and in that area they do the 2d6. And while I do it, I shout, "Oh crap!" No, I don't shout, "Oh crap!" But I only do 3 points. But I do
I
shout,
think he did shout, crap.
"Stand back!"
Stand back, and the spout just kind of goes.
It's not quite as big of a flamethrower as you thought it was.
Exactly.
You see a few of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Meteor.
Okay.
Space within medium, fiery stone. When it reaches an encounter or if it encounters a solid creature or object, it explodes. Blam. Flame spreads for a 1 yard radius. Sphere centered on the target point. Dealing 2d6 plus 2 damage to everything in the area. Half width and agility. Right?
Correct. But don't make your agility so I can do full 7 because it's not a lot, but I'm proud of it. And I thank Opie under my breath as it goes off.
I miss. So you do 7.
To however many are within that 1 yard radius.
Make a.
So that's a 6 foot diameter circle.
Make a. Some sort of check. Made an intellect challenge to keep the blast away from a building.
Oh, stay on target. Almost there. Stay on target. Yes.
Okay, good.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
It's just in the street, right?
Right. That's what I was trying to do, but you never know. Rocks skip.
Oh,
that's my. By the way,
let's
guys,
see. So when
your spell,
because this is like an area attack, you can hit many of them, so your damage is doubled, and that was also true for 808. So you did 3 more. You did 10 more.
Nice.
All right.
Left.
Do a couple go down?
A few. They kind of get back up too. Some that get knocked down, they get up. It's just this. It's hard to tell how many there are. This fog, the intensity, the explosion of the meteor, kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can see smoldering legs sticking out from under a rock, kind of stuff. And one of the corpses is on fire, laying prone in the street.
All right.
I just want to make sure we did do some damage to them.
You did. You definitely did do some damage to them. Quite a bit, actually.
So Morgan, she's moving slow. So Morgan uses her first action to move. So she is in front of Ichabod and 808.
Okay.
And you can see her hair just begins to levitate off the back of her neck and begins standing up. She puts out both hands and just launches this cone of lightning at the mob.
Lightning.
Cone of arcane lightning.
Okay. 5d6 agility for half.
Yep, and she powers it up with her greater sorcery, so it does 76.
Nice.
Jesus. Are you going to blow up?
We are going to find out. I am not having good luck with blowing up today, so the answer is probably yes.
And that's why you moved out and to be way in front of us.
Exactly. Yep, I moved out so I could get as many of the mob as I possibly could.
That's why the lady is a tramp.
Okay, so here's my damage. 28 points of damage.
Yeah, so lightning is like lashing the cobblestone streets. It's punching through buildings. Splinters are flying. The corpses are just like scattered. But one gets blown like close to you and like stands up and goes, "Rah!" But it's the last thing moving in the street.
Okay.
It's one animated corpse. And
I will take one.
What's that?
I'll take the one.
Yeah. And it it just reaches out with like this emaciated. Hi, kitty.
Hi, kitty.
That's terrifying. That is truly terrifying.
All right, and it's just a straight, no boons or anything.
Okay. Can my
And
armor
it
do
hits,
something? Armor!
Armor
That's
10.
so-
So you're
Armor class 15.
Yeah.
15. What's your armor class?
It's 13 plus 2 for my arcane armor, so 15.
Okay, cool. So
Woo!
it scrabbles off your armor. It's a new round.
Welcome to
Fast.
the
I'm
world of hardened leather.
stick.
You guys going fast or slow?
I'm fast.
Is there more still? I thought
Just the
There's no-
one.
It's just the one
Oh.
that's basically barely standing at this point.
I'm going fast as well.
Are we within range to be able to attack it?
You could charge it
Okay, yeah.
with the
am
move and
melee.
attack. Yeah, you could take a fast move to charge into melee with it.
That's
Right,
my
okay.
plan.
Yes. Fast.
Okay.
Don't blow up again. Try not to
I
cast
will.
anything. Don't juice anything.
All right. I smack it with my empowered staff.
All right, go ahead and make your attack roll. It's going
Okay.
fast too, but you guys are before it.
I think this is the first time I've ever tried to hit anything with this staff. So let's see how this
All
goes.
right. A new skill. Because a 20 does something no matter what.
Well, yeah. Okay. I don't think my spell gives me any benefits. And I don't think I've got any boons on that. Sorry, this is a spell that I haven't been able to use yet. Nope, I miss.
All right. Who's next?
I will come in with my fiery sword.
Okay.
Oh,
9 points of damage. Has it taken any damage yet? No.
Not that I'm not this one. I don't know.
No,
It got up, so.
No, yeah, it got
Yeah.
up from being blasted. You know, it was the the straggler that got thrown out from the blast of lightning to land at Morgan's feet and
Got up.
its way and attack her. Okay.
Yep.
It's like
808.
you've cut off one of its arms and it's just cut into its chest and it's just kind of barely wobbling there on its feet. And another hit,
Points.
crushing it beneath the mighty wrench.
I love the idea you swing a just huge pipe wrench.
Ears are ringing from the blasted lightning. What will you do?
You hear some static electricity crackling in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And Ichabod, your hair's standing up.
I was just say all of our hair is standing up. Except
Well,
808.
mine's not.
Yeah, I say yours isn't.
Morgan says, shall we move forward?
Yes. Do we want to go find out who was in the house with the light?
No, I really don't want to know who was in the house with the light.
Yeah, that could have been a red herring.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was the clue we needed, but we're going to move on. I think. Oh, you're going to continue to try and clear the street. Is that what you decided?
There's no more.
There's
There
no
are
more husks.
corpses stirring. Yeah, no more corpses stirring.
Well, gentlemen,
Okay, let's get to the docks.
So you are standing near the building where the light had ducked into, but it sounded like you didn't want to pursue that, and you wanted to head back to the docks. Is that right?
well, I do want to pursue it, but wiser heads, I think, are going to prevail.
Oh, there's some disagreement, or not disagreement, but other ideas about what to do.
Yes.
So are you all heading down to the docks? Is that the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your
Yes.
thought, Nils?
Um,
Do you prefer the dock or the house?
yeah, I don't think. Let's do the dock.
Break the tie. Break the tie.
Dock.
Okay. So
I'm
we're
just thinking that
back to our plan of going out to the island.
All right.
I'll be back
Or
in a
do, we,
second.
or do we need to rest up and then go out to the island?
I'm
think-
still fine.
Okay, I think we need to get out there. That's my thought.
I've used 2 of my sizable spells, but I still have several more. And besides, I don't think we have time to rest.
No, I think you're right. And I have some questions about the crossings when we have time for talking.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Because we also want to discuss your plans and your thought for setting mood and so on. I'm just reminding you because you said to remind you.
I am looking for a thing.
Is it a fabulous thing?
It's a thing.
I've got one.
Got one. What?
A thing.
What is it?
Well, doesn't matter. You're just looking for.
I've got a red gem here. It's not quite done being painted, but it's a thing. And some mean fucking bunnies.
So as you're moving through, the street, you can see like one of the houses is being like ransacked from the inside, like smashing, blam, and a chair comes flying out the window. What will you do?
Oh, I think we need to go stop this sort of thing. The shenanigans.
Do we?
Well,
I mean, yeah, there's going to be stuff like this all over. We need to take care of the main problem.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Something
just trying to slow it down
sticks its head out the second story window and looks down at you, and it's got a big mouth of teeth with long incisors. It's got 2 arms on the windowsill, and then 2 arms on the window frame, and then another 2 arms up in the top, and it like kind of wings its way out and like screams down at you.
Burn
Yeah,
the
we definitely need to
demons!
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What will you do?
We have a fight on our hands. That's a fucking demon.
I will let loose my flamethrower if I'm within range.
Are you just gonna hose down the building?
Yeah, he's ransacking the building anyway. It's probably not going to be in much condition.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead and roll your damage. Mark down your what's it?
You're
Of course,
charged.
being a demon, I'm sure it's not going to be 2 times like the other guy.
Ooh, but physical hurts him.
There we go.
Oh.
7.
Whoa, what? That's weird. I see a 6 and a 5 on the table.
I see a 6 and a 5 as well.
I'll give you what's on the table.
Oh, nice.
For 11.
Yeah, because we
just
need it.
you point the flamethrower into the building, and the whole thing bursts into fire. But now there's a raging fire somewhere about here in the middle of town. The city is on fire.
Let's get out of here, guys.
Yeah, I look at my compatriots and say, "Time to go."
A couple of these things come running out of the building on fire and like just collapse in the street, twitching. They're about 3 feet tall. They have 3 sets of arms, 6 arms, and their skin is all purpley and yellow, like they've been pounded. Well, you can't tell; it's charred and blackened.
Well, sounds like my trick worked. So
It was very, very effective. What the heck are these things?
Let's move and discuss it on the boat.
Yep.
So you're getting down to the docks. I think that's a good place to stop it for this evening, as you strike out into the water on a purloined boat.
are we fleeing the crossings or heading towards danger?
Yes.
Both can be true.
All right, guys. Well, that was a fun session tonight. It was fun to see all the new level 7 stuff in action.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to see you like figure out, try dealing with the whatever's happening to the city here in the accursed fog. Hits or misses, or maybe I'll start by talking about the tone or the principles. So, one thing that I try to do is keep a few principles foremost in my mind about specifically this campaign. So they're as follows. The first is to set a world grim and dark. The second is create dangerous adventure, and the third is be a fan of the PCs. So those are my three kind of GM principles that I try to apply, session over session.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I was distracted by the naked man that just walked past.
Half naked. He's doing Dance Dance Revolution out in the garage, and it's pretty hot.
Anyway, go ahead.
That's all I have to say about that. So we were talking about it earlier about
I was kind of curious. What were the three again? Can you repeat them?
Oh, set a world grim and dark, create dangerous adventure, and be a fan of the PCs.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So maybe let's do hits and misses, Peter.
Well,
opposite direction tonight.
Well, definite hit finding these new little things at level 7 that we can do. That is always interesting, and again, that interaction, how we help each other and work things through. But it was especially nice that what I had to deal with was vulnerable to fire. So
that was good, right?
That was like bonus. I was like, wow. Yeah. So yeah, that was very exciting. I don't have a miss.
Okay.
Except I like Glenn. He's fun to have around, and he's our little green guy. He can't be the Hulk. He's too small.
I think he's doing some sort of like festival or something on the weekends. So that I think his Thursday is like his prep or his travel or something. I think it's like a Ren fair that he's doing.
Well, good for him. He has a social life.
Yeah. How about you, Nils? Hits or misses?
Walking around with a giant fire gun's always good.
Yes.
I think I like the time that we took at the beginning to kind of talk through our characters' development and that kind of thing.
How you got to where you are now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that this may have been the first time that I can remember, at least, where we all didn't have agree on the same plan.
Oh, so, like some of you wanted to do something and others
wanted
to do other things.
Go back to Ichabod or help the people or not. So it just was interesting to kind of have that kind of dynamic that we have to sort out.
Yeah. Cool.
Any misses? Or maybe that was the miss.
Well, that wasn't a miss. It just was an interesting miss. No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Ethan, hits or misses?
I think the hit was the ambiance. It
creepy
really
from the outset.
And I thought it was really good. It definitely gave the sense of. It put me at least in the mindset of, like, you can't really have a plan. You just need to start reacting to things because you can't have a good enough plan for it all.
Right.
Which was really nice.
Which kind of amps up the tension.
Yeah,
amps up the adrenaline, amps up the what's that?
Yeah.
It was really interesting playing the cautious side of Morgan for once.
Well, last time we kind of probably subdued her a little. It's like,
Between that,
That's-
and he's in a new body right now, so it's
That's
like,
right. She was 13 going on 30.
She is 13 going on 30. It's my daughter. When she was 13. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, well, I had a question, and
Mhm.
actually I don't need to keep recording at this point, so I don't maybe
Sure.
unscreen share.
Why don't I go ahead and kill the